If you're taking the LSAT anytime in the next year, you're going to want to register for it today on the lsac.org website because LSAC just changed the rules this week, starting with the August 2026 LSAT. The day you register decides the order in which you pick your testing slot. If you register early, you get to pick the better times first and the better test centers first. If you register late, you're only going to have leftovers available to you. I've been personally teaching the LSAT since 2005. Over the past 20 or so years, I've seen students drop 5 to 9 points or more on test day because they took the LSAT under conditions that didn't fit them. And of course, even just 5 points can decide the difference between going to a top 50 school and your regional pool or between a full merit award and paying full sticker at the same school. Now, registering only takes 5-10 minutes, but if you don't register today, that could cost you more than any prep you do or don't do this summer. Now, there are 8 LSATs offered over each 12-month period, August through June. They are all in person at a Prometric testing center. Remote testing is done for almost everybody. You may have already heard that it's been announced a few months ago already, but there's something announced, buried in the announcement this week. When you register, LSAC assigns you a scheduling window based on the order in which you register for the LSAT. About 4 weeks before test day, you get an email and a text saying that your testing window's open. For scheduling, you log into Prometric and you pick from whatever is still available. For the August LSAT, registration closes June 25th, scheduling opens July 21st. If you register on June 24th and somebody else registered, say, May 21st, that person's been in the schedule for weeks before you can even log in. They took your slot and you've got leftovers. Now, LSAC's public line on all of this is that they are expanding capacity, more testing centers, more appointments, and that's true at an aggregate system-wide level, but it's also a little bit misleading because you don't take the LSAT in aggregate. You take it as one person trying to book on a Saturday morning at the Prometric testing center closest to where you live, which is going to fill up first, regardless of how much capacity exists across the system. The Wednesday 4 p.m. at a center across town is still open in late July, which is how LSAC can honestly claim capacity exists. Now, there is no override for this. You get what you get when your window opens, and they don't want you getting upset about it. Now, there are 2 exceptions to in-person testing. If you require approved medical accommodations at a Prometric center that they can't provide, and test takers who are more than 180 miles or 3 hours from a center with capacity. If you qualify for the distance exception, the trap is you've got to register first, then apply with documentation, and your scheduling order is already set when you apply. If your exception gets denied, you've now got a later testing window. So if you might qualify, register first, apply second. Now, most people think test day is just the 4 sections, and the test day starts, in truth, the moment that you wake up. Let's say you've been practicing at 9 a.m. for 6 months. Every timed practice test on your tracker came from a 9 a.m. study session, and your body and your brain are calibrated to 9 a.m. Then LSAC drops you into a 2 p.m. slot because the morning times filled up months ago. And so you're sitting down for section 1 on borrowed energy. You haven't taken a timed section past 12:30 over your entire prep. By the reading comp section, you're running on willpower, and you finish 5 points down from your average because of factors that have nothing to do with your abilities. Now, this is a problem of logistics, nothing more. It's not your ability, it's not your aptitude, but it does have an impact. Now, there is also a second part to LSAC's announcement, and it includes something I haven't seen LSAC publish in 2 decades of teaching this exam. And here are their exact words, and I quote, "Due to the underlying structure of the new test driver platform, moving from answer selection to answer elimination will require an extra click. We are not able to provide radio button functionality with a single click," end quote. Now, I don't know exactly what radio button mean. I think it has something to do with one of those UI buttons that lets you toggle or choose between different options in terms of selecting or eliminating answer choices. Bottom line, plain English, more clicking around that you've got to do. It's going to cost you more time. So LSAC has just admitted in writing that the new LSAT is slower to take than the current one, and there's nothing they can do about it. So that means on the current interface, you click an icon next to an answer choice to cross it out, one click and you're done. Then you click again to bring it back. On the new interface, that is no longer available. To eliminate an answer, you must click into something LSAC's calling, quote, answer masking mode. Your cursor changes. You click the answer you want crossed out. Then you click back out of masking mode to actually select your final answer. So what used to be one click is now a toggle, a click, and another toggle on every elimination on every question. Now, the LSAT is really strictly timed. You've got, in logical reasoning, for example, 26 questions you've got to solve in 35 minutes, about a minute and 24 seconds per question. Now, the cost of clicking around more costs you more on the harder questions because that's where you are eliminating more aggressively, sometimes 3 or 4 choices on a single question. So conservatively speaking, you're probably looking at a minute or 2 per question extra. That could cost you an entire question or 2 on the test per section, and that gap could cost you a 170 to 175. It could cost you 5 points. And logical reasoning is 2/3 of the scored sections. So whatever you're losing per question, you're losing it twice in logical reasoning. You're also losing it once on reading comp, of course. So that could cost you 3 raw score points at minimum. Now, of course, the LSAT has changed a lot over the past several years. They went from paper to tablet in 2019. They went remote in 2020 with the pandemic. And now they're rolling out a brand new platform, a new UI interface with in-person testing. I've never seen them publish an admission quite like this one. They're telling you in writing that the LSAT's gotten worse and they're not going to fix it. And so if you're taking the LSAT in August or beyond, you've got to switch up your practice today. LSAC just went live with all 60 or so practice tests live in LSAC's Law Hub platform this week. You want to stop doing practice tests out of books. You want to stop doing them on these unofficial third-party platforms because they don't reflect the actual software that you're going to be experiencing on test day. Better you get used to it now versus later. And of course, if you want my help getting ready for test day whenever you're taking it, whether it's August, September, October, November, or beyond, I'm happy to help you out. I'm offering free LSAT tutoring for everybody watching this now or later. You can book that free tutoring lesson with me personally at unpluggedprep.com/start. The link is below the video on YouTube, pinned in the chat on YouTube, in my bio on TikTok and IG, below the video as well.